Hey everyone, 3 stories from the subreddit Confessions. One deals with a young man seemingly getting caught. The next has to do with a woman becoming her true self. The third has to do with living in a white trash, low-income household. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This story is titled, Possibly Probably Caught in the Act. This story goes back a few years to when I was 18. I'm 29 now, but I still think about this and cringe at least once a week. I'm not entirely sure I even got busted, but I would say I'm about 99.99% sure. Here goes anyway. I was living with my parents at the time, and after a reasonably large night on the town, I came home at about 2 a.m. Having struck out with the ladies this night, I thought, bugger it, I'll fire up the computer and get my release with a bit of Pornhub. Can't actually remember if that was around then, but I'm sure I had some favorite sites. With the house layout, this was relatively safe with minimal risk of getting caught in the act. The computer was straight off the kitchen in the dining sort of area, with a lounge room off to the side and a wall between me and the stairs up to the bedrooms, with Mum, Dad and my younger sister asleep upstairs. If anyone was to come down, I would hear them and have plenty of time to close out of the porn tabs and fix myself before I got caught with my pants down. After a bit of encouragement, my alcohol-affected wanker finally started working, and I eventually got the deed done and packed up the computer and went to bed, satisfied with my night's work. Next day, I sleep in after my big night and finally get out of bed at about midday. There was a few voices downstairs, and as I head down to grab some breakfast, I realize my sister, 13, has a couple of friends over for the day. One friend I had met plenty of times and knew reasonably well, and another I had never met. They are chilling in the kitchen, and I walk in and say hello and introduce myself to the friend I had never met, and she is incredibly awkward, doesn't respond and avoids all eye contact. As I continue getting my breakfast ready, I'm chatting away to the friend I know, and my sister, but I can't get a word out of this other girl. I'm thinking to myself, how shy she must be, completely awkward. Anyway, I take my cereal and head into the lounge room to watch some TV, and that's when I notice the mattresses laid out on the lounge room floor. Turns out the friends weren't visiting for the day, they had actually slept over the night before and had the mattresses set up in the lounge. With direct line of sight to the computer I was fapping away at for about half an hour the previous evening. Absolute panic stations. I grab my bowl of cereal and retreat back upstairs to my bedroom and stay there until the girls' parents have come and picked up the 2 girls. To this day, I'm still not 100% certain I got busted as such. But my best bet is that my sister and the other friend slept through the whole thing, while the awkward one must have woken up and got one hell of a performance from me and whatever sick twisted shite I was into as an 18-year-old. I never saw that girl again. I think my sister remained friends with her for a while, but she certainly never came back for another sleepover. Comment 1. One time I was visiting my ex-boyfriend's house since we were still friends, and I wanted to go say hi to his cool older brother who lived in the basement area of their house. I knocked and I guess he didn't hear. I have since learned to wait for a response, I know, so when I walked up behind him he quickly fumbled around with his computer and was covered in a large blanket. I was so naive at the time, I thought he was acting so bizarrely I just left, only to realize about a year later he must have been jacking off. Comment 2. Holy moly bro, you got busted. Well, when I want to do the deed, I make sure no one in the house so I don't get into this situation. However, like what they say, we all make mistakes in the heat of passion, Jimbo. P.S. It happened in the very past, so whatever happened, just get over it. Comment 3. Nice idea to avoid sister's friend's sleepover in the house. This story is titled, Confused. I don't know what I'm doing in life. I love my husband, he's my best friend, but I want a different life. I want out, I want to run, I want to find a woman. That's not the world I live in though. I've told people I was bi since I was in high school, but I never allowed myself to actually date a girl, though I think I've loved a few over the years, if only through friendship. I have no one to tell this to. No one to tell that I think I might be gay. How do I explain to sexually open-minded husband that while yes I can enjoy the physical aspect of sex with him, that if I'm honest about what I want, of what I desire, it's just not it somehow. It's just part of being married. I love him and I want to make him happy. I'm 27 and have almost no experience with women. How could I leave behind a husband who loves me, who has been there for me in my worst moments, for a world I don't know how to be a part of? A world I'm too scared to admit just how much I want to be part of. Now's not the time, but it's coming to a head. I don't know how much longer I can keep this in. God, I hope we're ready. Comment 1. How do you think he'd react? If you don't think he'll take it super well, think about the choice you'll have to make. Do you love him enough to sacrifice ever being with a woman, or is your desire to be with women stronger than your love for him? It's going to be difficult, but I hope you end up doing what makes you happy, and living your life without any regrets. Comment 2. You need to have an honest conversation with him. He sounds like a good man and he deserves the truth, so he's not beating himself up over it if you guys do part ways. Like him questioning what he did wrong if he could have been better. Comment 3. If you do go down that path, you're going to need to fully commit to it. Your husband will probably find another woman and remarry. If you change your mind, which has happened, and find that is not the life for you, it'll be too late to rekindle that relationship. Comment 4. Do you truly love him? I think that's important to ask yourself. Have you ever loved him? If so, maybe you are just missing some excitement and you need to recommit to each other and rediscover why you love him. But please try and figure out if you care for him and he cares for you deeply and intimately, or if you are just trying to please him for some other reason. If you really love him, you can ask him for the freedom to explore other people. And if you really love him, you'll come back to him afterward. Loving others does not necessarily lessen your love for him, especially if it's strong. Please also research polyamory, maybe it could be for you. Comment 5. No matter what you do, don't just disappear on him without a word. Or worse, write him a letter because you can't face him. It will destroy Jim if you do that, and he'll likely never trust anyone again or possibly drop out of society because he's internally shattered. Talk to him first about the feelings you're having and make him understand it's not him and it's not his fault. You don't sound like a bad person and neither does he. In the end though, you're both not good for each other. You both deserve to be happy, and if he loves you, he will learn to be happy for you. Even if it means he'll no longer be in the picture. And vice versa. This story is titled, I moved in with a trailer trash couple and I am going to make their lives hell until they move out or I am able to move out. Little story time. Girl roomie seems to have lots of issues with me. We were getting along and talking about food. I casually mentioned I have a recipe I wanted to try soon, but needed to locate the paper it's on. She suddenly volunteers me to cook the next night. I didn't correct her, but figured I'd perhaps try to do that for her. I end up not locating that recipe that night and crashing early. I am making it through work at home the next day, about halfway through the day, and the guy roomie, girl's husband, comes in to ask me, hey, what's for dinner? And so I immediately said, shite. I didn't find the recipe and then forgot. He walked off and I jumped up and started looking for it. I then overhear girl roomie say, that's what pisses me off about her. I stop. I don't want to do anything nice after hearing that. 1. I've caught her saying nasty things behind my back multiple times. 2. She couldn't say it to my face and avoided me all day long. Later that day, after spending a while in my room, I decide to pack up a bag, even my bud, and leave the apartment. I respectfully go tell them I am headed out. She immediately pipes up in a happy tone, hey, I was just about to come see you to see if we can smoke. I am completely out of bud. I ignore that statement and let them know I am headed out for the night. They start pestering me, what's wrong? So I let it go that I overheard her and it's BS that she's a biatch over me not cooking when I didn't even agree to it, and the whole point was the recipe, which I did not find. She gets aggressive about it and I just walk out and leave it be, so I don't go off on her. I live with a family of 5, wife, husband, preteen kid, and 2 kids under 5 years old. They were getting evicted from their living place and I was going through a divorce and we were friends. Because of the bad credit and her husband's not working, we agreed to all move in and they found us a low-income apartment complex to move into. We all 3 signed the lease. While living with them, I've noticed how narcissistic the wife is, how lazy the husband is, and how they verbally abuse the kids and focus on themselves more than making sure their kids are getting the best life possible. The couple will watch TV or dye their hair, or play on their phones and keep telling the kids to go play on their tablets in the living room. Constantly expecting the preteen to take care of the 2 younger ones. The couple doesn't like my BF, says it's disrespectful that he drinks over here, yet this girl I live with smokes weed in front of her kids. And cusses and yells at them. Her and her husband loudly fight with them in the house. Oh right, so it makes total sense that my BF is a complete jackasher for drinking beer here. So I can't have my BF over at my place. Anyway, I get home the next day too, we need to discuss the bills. This crazy government assistance sucking con artist tells me I owe her a third of what she receives in food stamps, $200 per month for food expenses. I told her no. I haven't consumed $200 worth of your food each month. And I will not pay $200 per month going back to move in because you suddenly decided that because your husband lost his job it's my responsibility to pay y'all more money. Or that you're so pissed at me that suddenly you're coming up with every way possible to squeeze money out of me. How petty. I'm fed up, frustrated, and angry. What more can I do? I'm not joking, help me ruin their lives. When, if I get to move out, all the electric and gas and internet is in my name, and I know they don't have the credit to get it in their name. And I am going to cancel it all and leave them in the dark and cold. Because I am sick and tired of their nastiness. What awful people. They yell and cuss at their kids. They are self-centered and narcissistic and care more about themselves than their kids. They, like this morning, let their kids run around the house all morning starting when they wake up at 7:30 a.m. and the couple sleeps in until 9 a.m., 10 a.m., hell sometimes 12 or 1 p.m. Occasionally waking up to holler at the kids for annoying them. I want to call CPS on them. The husband and wife have gotten into domestic disputes, physical altercations, so bad I had to call the cops. He got arrested and her trailer trash self was all whining, he hit me and choked me, to the cops. They arrested him and she realized what she did and went in front of a judge and was all, I was emotional and said things I didn't mean. No, you straight up lied to the judge. I got to see her figuring out and practicing what she was going to say. I'm so fed up, I started recording on my personal social media what I am hearing and my now overtly biatchy moves of dealing with them. Day 1, I hear guy raising his voice at 3-year-old kid, what the frick do you want? And girl piping up, what do you want? You're waking me up and pissing me off. Wow, what 5-star parenting. So, cue pathetic by Lamb of God played loudly, from my room which is right across from theirs. I'll also start recording the yelling, cussing, and general behavior with the kids. Get a case built up against them. I feel so awful, but at the same time, I've dealt with this for 6 months and I have lost all patience with this situation. Comment 1. Yeah, you should definitely buy your own food and get a mini fridge until you move out for one. I'd understand if you weren't on the lease and they didn't want anyone drinking, but that ain't the case at all. Moving in with a family of 5 with bad credit probably wasn't the best idea for you, especially coming out of a divorce. You definitely should have just moved in by yourself. Knowing that they would need you just to get a spot should have been a red flag, in all honesty. You might as well change everything when it comes to the internet. Let them get their own shite, since she wants to charge you for food stamps like you're the only one actually going out at buying the shite anyway. From this point on, whenever you all make agreements, make sure everything is in writing. Verbal agreements will be the death of you. Comment 2. Before you take any action against them, ask yourself if bud is legal in your state. Keep in mind that the couple will immediately point fingers at you regarding stuff that is just, he said, she said, and not provable. Junkyard dogs can bite really hard. I realize you are extremely angry. Just be careful to not catch yourself in the crossfire. Comment 3. Sounds to me like a family of 5 invited you into their low-income house to get you on your feet. While you were there, you were eating their food that they cook for their 3 kids. If you want to eat, go to the grocery store and buy your own food and cook it, cause it sounds to me like you're taking food out of the babies' mouths and then calling CPS. That's out of line. They feed their children. You don't walk into someone's home asking for help and then flip the table. Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.